Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I thought I'd just do a little Friday catch-up on the various ways the American government has decided to make their country less relevant this week, as Vance is loudly booed by the upper middle class. Portugal cancels an American defence order and buys European instead, and Trump threatens to put 200% tariffs on European wine. Far from cowing people affected, it's actually the French who have come fighting on that one. But first, for daily political commentary, please hit the subscribe button to stay notified. So Putin must be loving all of this, of course. Let's kick off with JD Vance, the guy who sucks up to America's enemies and attacks its allies. Only in this case, he's attacking his own people. JD Vance attended a classical music concert at the Kennedy Center in Washington. Now, apparently Trump had already replaced the trustees, saying, oh, we don't like what they do. We don't like their music. We're going to have different people. We're going to do proper music. No woke, he said. There would be no woke. The entire score for the evening was apparently 100% Russian composers, just to emphasize where their loyalties lie there. And Vance enters his private box to loud boos and jeers from the audience. The audience, who had reportedly all been vetted with a full Secret Service security check. Basically, this was the opera house set as far as I can tell. The upper middle classes of American society. Not the sort of people who are in the habit of, well, probably jeering at all, but certainly not to right-wing governments. It's a sign of just how extreme this MAGA government is, isn't it? Reminds me a little bit of how the Tories ended up having to attack the National Trust as being woke Marxists. The National Trust. For those who don't know, they're sort of our upper middle classes who look after huge stately homes and preserve basically the former trappings of the old aristocracy. Woke Marxists, they are not. When you're part of a right-wing government and you are making enemies of the right-wing establishment, people who would normally be your core supporters, it's just possible you're going to be universally hated before long.
Kill that light!
And Vance was not in diplomatic mood either. I mean, most politicians, when faced with a show of disapproval like that, will just sort of smile and wave. Now, I mean, Vance did technically do that too, but he also shouted out, "You ruined this place." I'm assuming he meant the concert hall, but I have a feeling that those words will be used in his direction about the entire country before long. And Trump himself has been venting this week. Consider two of the most famous things he's done in the last few days. So first, he took on a part-time job as a Tesla salesman. This, for me, demonstrates two things. First, as I speculated recently, Trump hasn't really clipped Musk's wings in the face of opposition to his Doge work. No. Trump is fully behind Musk. In fact, so fully is he behind Musk that the president who made a big public show of being anti-low carbon tech has this week been promoting electric cars. And the second thing it demonstrates is that Trump is not liking the fact that people are boycotting his tech bros, especially Musk. Tesla sales collapsing in Canada and parts of Europe. In London, there was another Tesla advert out that I don't think Musk approved. So as with everything Trump does, his sales pitch for Teslas was actually an expression of hate. He even tried to describe people who protest against Teslas as domestic terrorists, that it was illegal to boycott Teslas. Imagine that. Illegal not to buy a Tesla. Another show of fury was the response to EU retaliatory tariffs. In response to Trump applying the 25% tariffs to aluminium and steel on the EU went, well, we'll just apply some tariffs to your stuff. How dare you, said Trump. Well, you started it. So they've applied it on, things like last time, Harley Davidson's, American whiskey. Trump didn't actually seem to mind about the bikes, but wasn't happy about the bourbon. Take it off or I'll slap 200% on European alcohol, he said. Now, you would think this would concern a country like France, but it's actually their trade minister who responded by saying, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. At least I think that's what he said. My French isn't very good. But I think that was the gist of it. The American stock markets are not enjoying these chaotic trade wars either. It's been pointed out that stock values rose during the equivalent period of both Obama and Biden's presidencies. They have fallen quite sharply under Trump. And Trump's allies have said they're not concerned about a bit of short-term turmoil. It's like, okay, fine, fair enough. Let's see what it looks like once it can no longer be described as short-term. Because consider this from the point of view of a potential investor. Trump and Musk are corruptly favouring the businesses of the MAGA inner circle whilst punishing others. Now, if you're an investor, are you going to want to get involved in such a carnivorous market? Because you can't judge the future performance of a business on its business model. You're going to have to consider the political angle as well, which can be very unpredictable where Trump is concerned. This is all looking very like Brexit, where inward investment in Britain, which had been growing, suddenly levelled off and is yet to recover. And that was years before we left the EU. It was straight after the referendum result. So it was a consequence, not of trade barriers, which we might have averted at the time. It was a consequence of the uncertainty. Trump is weaving uncertainty into the entire American economy. People are individually boycotting American goods in Canada. You know, how's that going to make the balance of trade look, Trumpy boy? What he fails to understand is the reason America has a negative balance of trade with a lot of countries is because, well, there are only so many sectors of the American economy which produce stuff that other people want. And they're very rich. Like, they're the richest country in the world. They're so rich, they can afford to buy exotic goods from around the world. None of this stopped America from not only being the richest country in the world, but extending its lead over others in recent years. I have a feeling that extension may go a little to reverse. Portugal have made a bit of a statement as well. They had an order of American F-35s to replace their F-16s. They've cancelled it. They're going to buy Eurofighters instead. That's not a political boycott, by the way. They've said they need a reliable supplier. I mean, I'm telling you, this MAGA operation it's Brexit. If Brexit were to get off its tits on amphetamines, which I guess is why Elon Musk is considered the ideal person to lead it. But because it's more extreme, does that mean there's a chance people in America will wake up to it? See, one problem we have with Brexit is still not enough people joining the dots, not helped by the media. Well, I see much of the mainstream media in America is hiding protests on the street, so this will also need people to essentially see it for themselves. Will they? There is a chance, because there's nothing frog in the boiling pot about Trump's policies. They're going hard and fast, and the consequences could be very severe and very noticeable. You know, those who believe in Trump presumably believe him when he says, oh yeah, things are going to get worse, absolutely, but then they'll get better. But how long do they wait? But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button and subscribe for further content. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can click the join button for memberships. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later.